This is a tutorial for doing regression on the graphing calculator. So one time only, you need to turn your diagnostic on to see your correlation coefficient, which is R. Hit second, catalog. These are alphabetized, so I'm going to hit alpha D because I want to turn the diagnostic on, and sometimes I've got to click it several times. So here they are in alphabetical order. I'm going to go down to diagnostic on. One more. Turn the diagnostic on, hit enter, it says done. Now it's going to work. Okay. Once you've done that one time, you don't need to redo it unless you would like reset your calculator memory. So to enter your data, you hit stat, edit. And you're going to store your data into L1 and L2. So in L1, I'm entering the years since 1970. I've already entered them. But to show you if there's data already in here, you hit clear, enter, and it wipes out everything in that list. What happens at least once is kids accidentally delete your list. Notice L1 is gone, and how do you get it back? Well, good trick to know. Hit stat, run option 5, the setup editor, hit done, and now that list will be back. So stat, edit. In L1, we're going to enter our years from 1970, so 0, 10, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 is the data given in the table. In L2, you're going to hit the Y values. These are ordered pairs next to each other, 0, 9.4, 10, 10, 7, 4.6, 2.3, 1.8, 2.4, 2.1, 2.0, and negative 0.4. So again, make sure your X's and Y's are next to each other. So I've entered my data. I'm just going to go back to my main screen by hitting second quit. Still stored in the memory of the calculator is my L1 and L2. So to see a scatter plot, okay, this has the capability. I hit second, Y equals to go to stat plot. These are all in here the different types of graphs your calculator can do. I'm going to hit enter and turn this on by highlighting on and hit enter. Here are your choices for graphs. The first one is the one we need, a scatter plot. Beneath that, you're telling your data where you're telling the calculator where your data is stored. The X's are stored in L1, the Y's are in L2. Everything's fine here, I don't need to adjust it. If I would, just go down and highlight it and change it. L1 and L2, L3 are listed here on the calculator, so you'd hit second and any of those options. Now to actually graph it, zoom 9 is the easiest way to then see your scatter plot. You look at it, you observe. Does it appear to be quadratic, cubic, quartic? What does it look like? Well, I can kind of see an upside down parabola here. So I'm going to think, you know what, I think a quadratic equation could possibly fit my data. So I'm going to run quadratic regression. The steps to do that are stat, arrow over to calc, and here are my options: linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic regression. I'm going to choose option 5. And then I just tell the calculator, where's my data? Again, my X's are in L1, my Y's are in L2. I don't want anything in frequency list. Now, this store regression equation, here's a nice feature. It's a little tricky to get it. I'm going to tell the calculator to store, like it's kind of like a copy and paste. Take this equation that's created and stick it into Y equals. So to do that, that's hidden in vars. So I hit vars, I arrow over to Y vars, and it's hidden in the functions. Here's all my different functions. Select Y1. Enter. And now I'm going to store it in Y1. Arrow down to calculate. And here is my equation. It would be Y equals, let's go to 3 decimal places, negative 0.009x squared plus 0.033x plus 9.744. Notice that my R squared here is pretty high. My R squared is telling me how good my fit is. when it is just linear, you can look at r, but when it's quadratic or cubic, we look at r squared. So the closer it is to 1 or -1, the better the fit. So this 0.96 is pretty good, but let's actually look at it. Zoom 9, and we can see how close our parabola that is created actually fits here. So that's looking pretty awesome. You can then use this to make a prediction. So if we wanted to predict the savings in 1993, if I hit trace, well, 1993 would be 23 years after 1970, so I hit 23. Oops, let me hit that again, graph. Hit trace, here's why. I got to arrow up, so up here it's on y equals. Now I hit 23, enter. So 5.94 is my predicted savings.